Hey everybody, this is John from Slashback, and today I am bringing you another Entitled Parents Reddit video. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe, and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, an entitled mother tries to take control over a MedEvac mission. Let's jump right in. So about 10 years ago, I was a corpsman in the US Navy, medical personnel for the Navy and Marine Corps, stationed overseas in a tropical paradise. At the time, I was the second most senior enlisted sailor in our department at a small forward deployed hospital. Part of my duties included being ready to medevac psych patients at a moment's notice, so I always had a medevac mission bag in my barracks room ready to go. Some details have been deliberately changed to protect the anonymity of my patient. Anyways, one day while I was on liberty, not on duty, I got one of those "you leave in 2 hours" phone calls, so off to the hospital I went, my trusty bag on my back. It was there that I was told how weird this medevac was to be. I was flying commercially to the US with my patient, instead of hopping on an Air Force flight, and their mother. Oh, by the way, the mother just happens to be an entitled junior officer. Great. I get all my paperwork together, gather my party, patient and mother, and grab a duty driver to take us to the local civilian airport. Oh, and while we are all dressed in civilian attire, it is important to note that I am 100% on duty and acting officially in my capacity as a non-commissioned officer in the United States Navy Hospital Corps. The mother, however, is 100% not on duty or acting in an official capacity. This becomes very important later. On the way there, the kid is really sweet, but is clearly recovering from a first psychotic break and has a lifetime of therapy, medication, and hospitalizations ahead. This kid has my sympathy, and besides, the kid is my patient. The mother, on the other hand, is clearly self-absorbed and is on her electronic devices or nagging the duty driver, who I know and is an excellent defensive driver, or is just in general complaining about anything she can. Whatever, I can tune her out and do my job. It wouldn't be the first or last time in my career I had to ignore a petulant junior officer and just get my job done. The trouble started almost immediately after checking in at the airport. She turned to me, cleared her throat, and in a tone that suggested that she was in charge, said, "You need to get my bag." Without hesitation, I replied, "No, ma'am. Our flight leaves in 20 minutes, we're going to the gate now." With that, I turned and began to escort my patient to the security screening area. She stammers out some kind of "excuse me" protest, but I didn't quite catch it because I genuinely didn't give a damn. My mission was getting my sick patient to a higher level of care, not playing enlisted butler to an entitled officer. That seemed to get her to back off because we got to our layover destination without incident. We board our international flight and the kid wants the window seat and mother wants to sit beside the kid. Fine. I sit behind them and we take off. The flight is going smoothly. I give the kid their medication after the in-flight meal and the kid and mother settle in for a movie. It was when the stewardess was handing out booze that things started to go really sideways. The mother tried to give her very sick kid, who is on an atypical antipsychotic medication, a flipping Jack and Coke. Without hesitation, I reached forward between the seats and snatched that stuff up. She turned to glare at me and chew me out, but I didn't even give her a chance. I cut her off with my super serious NCO tone and glare. I'm not ashamed to admit I practiced it before my first deployment, and state flatly, "Ma'am, not only is the patient underage, but the patient is very sick and is on some pretty serious medication. If there are two things that just plain don't mix, it's alcohol and psychotropic medication. Respectfully, ma'am, I simply will not allow this. I appreciate your compliance." Her face twists in rage and confusion. I could tell that she had never been spoken to like this by a lowly enlisted person, and she was trying to figure out what to say to me. Finally, she said, "I didn't want to have to pull rank, but..." Again, I immediately cut her off. "Ma'am, this is my mission. It was explained to you that you are not in charge here, and the skipper is allowing you to tag along as a humane gesture. I am calling the shots here. This is your kid and you want the best for the patient, I get it. But the best thing you can do right now is to let me do my job and get the patient to the next treatment facility without incident. Our commanding officer placed me in charge, and if the patient shows up to the next facility having drank alcohol, it will be my head on the chopping block. Not to mention that you are putting the patient at risk. Your child could have a genuine medical emergency tens of thousands of feet in the air over open ocean. So, ma'am, if you pull something like this again, I will report it. Thank you for your compliance, ma'am. You see, Reddit, in the US military, positional authority is way more important than your actual rank. This is why an E2 can and will prevent a 3-star general from entering a secure facility without the proper credentials. It doesn't matter that the 3-star is like flipping God to this E2, because not even God gets to access this facility without a proper military identification card, sir. This means that since the patient was released to my custody, and since the chain of command placed me in charge of this mission, my positional authority simply trumped her rank and even her status as the kid's parent, and I had the paperwork to prove it to any authority. Back to the flight. So after being told that she wasn't in charge, she scowls at me and tells me that when we land, she's going to call the cops or something. I don't really care as I lean back and begin documenting the interaction for my own personal cover your butt. Anyway, we land and there aren't any cops called or anything, so whatever she said was an empty threat. We are about to go through US Customs when she insists that she go through Customs first, then her kid, then me. The Jack and Coke incident is still fresh on my mind. I'm convinced she's going to try to pull some shady stuff, so I shut her down. I inform her that in order to maintain her kid's security and health, that I had to go first, followed by her kid, then her. She protests, and the protests start to get us stared at. Somehow we made it through Customs without her or the kid taking flight, or without any of us getting detained. Y'all, she flipping whined and complained loudly the entire wait. I was seriously getting concerned that we were gonna get detained. Nightmare almost over. We get through Customs and we head to get the rental car. All I have to do is get the patient to the next medical facility, give report, turn over effects, and I'm done. I get the car, load everyone up, and then Mother exclaims, "I left my purse!" She begins half flailing and freaking out and jumps out of the car. She tells me that I am to wait until she returns. Now, I'm not some kind of Special Forces ninja or some nonsense, but I have been deployed and I have seen real people get seriously hurt and had to treat those injuries. I've been in real danger, and I would eventually develop PTSD from these experiences. It was then and there that I decided playtime with this delusional officer was flipping over. I turn and look at her through the open car door, and this time, I don't mask my frustration with this woman. Ma'am, I have been on duty and awake for nearly 21 hours. We have a 45-minute drive ahead of us, then I have to give report and turn over medications, medical records, and personal effects. I have at least 2 more hours of work ahead of me before I can get some sleep and fly back tonight. Ma'am, there is no way you are holding this up any more than you already have. This vehicle will leave in 10 minutes with or without you. She stammers out that she will call the police on me for kidnapping her kid. I tell her to go right ahead, but that won't change that she now has 9 minutes and 45 seconds to get her purse. At this point, even the kid chimes in with, "Mom, stop trying to control everything. This guy has taken great care of me, and I'm really tired. Can't we just hurry up?" With that, she storms off and miraculously makes it back with her purse in time. I take them to the hospital with her silently fuming and furiously tapping away at her phone nonstop. Turnover gets done. I bid the kid goodbye and the mother ignores me as I leave. Sweet, sweet sleep. Oh, it's not over. Fast forward a week and I find out that the mother has filed a formal complaint against me. To avoid another long story, I'll tell you that the executive officer shredded it and chewed her out once I explained everything that happened and backed it up with official documentation. I don't know what happened to her or the kid, but I never saw either of them again. This is John from Bash. Please hit that like button to help with the mighty YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you are new. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.